Hello, it was on this day in 1975 that American audiences first saw Jaws, the blockbuster film, the first blockbuster film actually, done by Steven Spielberg, and even those of us who, like me, didn't see it, we know roughly the story. A huge, great shark terrorizes a coastal community. And for the film, of course, there had to be a mechanical object representing the shark, and so one was built 25 feet long, nicknamed Bruce after Steven Spielberg's lawyer, and it really wasn't terribly effective. In one case, occasion it actually sank and had to be retrieved from the bottom of the sea. The result was that when it came to the final cut, it didn't appear until the second hour of the film, and in total for only about 4 minutes in the whole film. And so what the film does is to engender fear and a sense of threat from something which we actually never see. And I thought this was probably a very good metaphor for life, because often we're afraid of something which we can't quite identify. I mean, there are kinds of fear which are just worry about the way a particular situation might turn out, or fear that we might not be strong enough or wise enough to deal with a particular situation. Or fear that in some way our lives or our livelihood or those dear to us are threatened by illness or some other challenge. There are specific fears, but there's also what I think has come to be known as angst, a word derived from Scandinavian and German languages in the 19th century, used particularly by Freud and Nietzsche, but a word that somehow describes a general sense of anxiety, a sort of feeling that things aren't right, a worry about the way things are going, without necessarily being able to focus on the cause of the fear. We're afraid of something which we can't see. And I think that this came to my mind when I heard an interview with a Christian rapper on the radio recently, and in an extract from one of his songs, he said, "We cannot know what the future holds, but we know who holds the future." And of course, what he's saying is that there's every reason to be worried and anxious about the future, but not if we recognise that the future is in God's hands. And this sounds a bit trite, and I'm not one for snappy sayings, but it struck me as having an element of truth for those of us who believe in a God. God holding the future doesn't mean to say that God's going to take away all our worries or leave us with no fears, or even equip us sufficiently to deal with all the things that challenge us. But it does suggest that underlying everything, just as the worry, the angst underlies everything without us quite being able to identify it, so God underlies everything without us quite being able to be aware that God is there. But because of God being a God of love and a God who cares for us, a God who created the world and wanted to prosper, that there is a power, there is an underlying assurance that in the end, as Julian of Norwich used to say, all will be well, and all will be well. And so today, if you, like me, look around us at the world and get this sense of worry and anxiety about what's happening to it, as well as perhaps a deeper angst, we can remember that if we can't know what the future holds, we can know who holds the future.